sim junkies. Wait, wrong intro. Greetings, race fans. No, that still isn't right. Well, welcome all you fine folks to This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where sometimes we do fuck around and find out about interesting things, that is, then share that wealth of knowledge with all of you fine beings out on the interwebs. This is episode 86, recorded April 18th, 2022, and I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Captain Dracanis. Down below me we have Fake Farang, also known as Tim Rhind, and next to me, as always, we have the glorious Seeker4761, also known as Colton Roper. How are all you fine folks doing today?
Good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
I'm still standing.
Yeah?
Still standing.
I'm still standing.
That will be relevant later on.
Fair enough. Well, it is back to just the trio of us for today. Cody is back on school tasks, so wish him luck as he learns a crazy difficult language.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like it. He
definitely went off last week, didn't he?
Very enthusiastic about it.
Yes. So yeah, this is going to be a fairly normal episode. Colton is trying to understand immunity. What did you do that you need immunity?
Aha, you'll find out. But Tim is apparently in pain because, ouch, he's fallen.
Yeah. And Brandon is a peek behind the veil. That sounds a little naughty there, Brandon. But it's probably
I'm excited.
It could be, but as we know from our pre-show, I'm in a rant-tastic mood, which means it's probably a rant.
That's why I put you last. Partly because you're always go last anyways, but
yep. Okay, well, Colton, what exactly is it that you need immunity from? Are we talking diplomatic immunity? Did you do something naughty?
Do you spy on me? Honestly, that's 3 goddamn weeks in a row. How did you do that?
Seriously?
Fuck you. Why am I even here? Jesus. Good guess. But yes, that's what I'm going to be talking about.
Don't worry about your Plex server. It's okay.
Fuck me, man.
It's very nicely secured.
I'm only a little worried and a little turned on. Excited for that veil. But Tim, I do have a question for you. As a Canadian citizen, I was curious if cop dramas were a thing on television in Canada, and specifically about Canadian cops in the Canadian legal system.
They had one many, many, many moons ago. I mean, about 20 years ago. Okay,
so if there's any dramas like that, it's going to be an American base, probably.
Oh, I thought you meant live ones, live TV.
No,
ones?
no, not like cops, but I don't know, Law and Order or something like that.
There's been a few. Yeah, there's been a few, but by and large, they like to do firefighter ones and or they combine them with. They have 2 or 3 emergency services into one show. There's been a few. There's been a few emergency response team ones and stuff like that.
Interesting. I don't know why.
There's been detective ones. Investigation ones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was for some reason I was randomly thinking about that because obviously, the United States isn't the end all be all of all television, but I just was randomly thinking does Canada have that kind of thing too? Because it's pretty popular in this country. So just random question.
Well,
yeah. I you know what? I guess the thing is that I didn't watch them if they had them, so I'd probably have to even do my own Google search on that.
Oh yeah. Well, I know Britain has a few of theirs. Is just a thing in the West specifically.
Yeah, we had a very good one out of Newfoundland. A very good sort of a quasi police, quasi private eye type of investigation.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Well,
I always think it's interesting because there's so many TV shows that I watch and and then it's watching towards the end of the credits and made in Ontario.
I just did a Canadian Detectives search, and it comes up with The Indian Detective. That was a comedy one with Frankie Drake Mysteries, Cardinal, Private Eyes, Motive, Endgame, The Listener, Murdoch Mysteries.
Well, yeah.
You might remember The Listener. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that was pretty popular down here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like another random thing. I've noticed that a lot of good YouTubers, especially the tech industry, are based in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do Sell is another one.
So, well,
Do Sell.
Random
Due South?
question. I don't think I've ever seen Due South.
Oh, okay.
But what I did watch was recently watched it was like a top 10 thing on YouTube. You know how it's always a list of some sort. And it was about the biggest twists in television in the 90s or something like that. And one of the entries was an episode of a cop drama. And I think it was Law and Order. It was a couple weeks back. So it's not like I just did it right before the episode. So the detectives had done their investigating, and the DA had put together a pretty open and shut case. And the twist was that even though the defendant had done a murder, they ended up getting away with it due to the defendant having diplomatic immunity. And I realized I didn't really understand what that actually meant. And I really thought it would be a good TWIL topic in terms of how it actually is applied in the real world, since Hollywood kind of dramatizes it all a little bit. So a little bit of dig and research. So what is diplomatic immunity exactly? Well, the modern definition was defined in the Vienna Convention of 1961, which is known as the Treaty of Treaties, where the act of drafting, defining, interpreting treaties was, I guess, defined in the modern sense. Diplomatic immunity is a legal protection that is given to foreign diplomats in accordance with diplomatic agreements, in accordance with the Vienna Convention of 1961. It can only be given by governments and can be given to the diplomat as well as any of the diplomat's dependents. So that means family, staff, and other close friends as well, which is kind of an iffy thing. So a diplomat's immunity is normally limited to the city and the surrounding area of the embassy of the home country. So it doesn't really make sense to give a diplomatic immunity. Say they want to come to the U.S., it doesn't make sense to give them diplomatic immunity everywhere. So it is kind of defined before the diplomat actually does work in the country that they're working in. So now when you think about it, the concept of diplomatic immunity actually makes sense, even in real world. If you have diplomatic relations between two countries with very different cultures and laws, it helps to give some protections to the diplomat, since they're messengers and they represent the will and desires of their home country. So they still have to work in that countries, but yeah, it's whatever. So if the foreign country were to arrest or detain the diplomat, it could be seen as a major geopolitical incident and could even go as far as a direct act of war. So because countries tend to be really, really touchy when dealing with other countries, especially with their own self-interest in mind, diplomats are still expected to be on their best behavior and must respect the laws and regulations of the receiving state, as well as not interfere with the internal affairs of the receiving state. So, cool shit. I don't know why. I thought that's utterly fascinating to me. But I also like the first 3 Star Wars about the trade regulations and the trade agreements. So, this is the thing that turns me on, baby. It gets my motor running. So, how far does the legal protection actually go? Can a diplomat with diplomatic immunity get away with a major crime like you see in Hollywood? Murder, burglary, stuff like that. And I found out that it depends. I found a great article by The Guardian which sort of explains how this works in the United Kingdom. One thing diplomats don't really have to worry about in the UK is fines, such as parking tickets, speeding tickets, the general administrative costs of laws. One study found that the country with the most unpaid fines in the UK in regards to their diplomats is, in fact, the United States. So over 89,000 unpaid fines worth almost 11 million euros. Go USA, number 1. Number 2 is Japan with 7 million euros in unpaid fines. So part of it is the close diplomatic relations between the United States and the UK. So there's a lot more diplomatic stuff going on. But I did find that the more powerful a country is, the more their diplomats tend to get away with, because again, they don't want to piss off the big dog. So just interesting shit when you're talking about geopolitical relations.
We've had diplomats cause serious harm. I'm not even sure impaired driving and cause serious harm. I can't remember if there's one that was a homicide or not. I mean, not a homicide, but ended up in a death or not. But yeah, that's not good.
See, and you bring up an interesting point, because again, where does the legal protection end or start? So in 2019, the wife of a U.S. diplomat is actually suspected in killing a motorcyclist in a traffic accident. And the wife quickly jumped on a plane coming back to the U.S. claiming diplomatic immunity. So technically it is allowed, as weird as fucked up as that is. But it's definitely caused some tensions between the two countries, because a person's diplomatic immunity can be removed at any time. It's given by the foreign government in the that's working for the diplomat that's working in the receiving government. So if the U.S. wanted to, I'm sure the U.K. wants to extradite this person for questioning at the very least. But because of weird political ties and weird, possibly corruption,
can the country that person belongs to, can they waive the diplomatic immunity for that person?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
If they feel they're going to have a fair trial, and the law is a law that would be the same in their country, because if you're a Canadian, you can't go murder somebody in another country and get away with it.
And that's kind of the way it works is, again, because the government that the diplomat works in is the one who gives the immunity, so they could take it away for whatever reason. But being a political thing, there might not be. Could be seen as weak-willed, could be seen there could be something that they're trying to get out of the UK, could be as simple as the diplomat has blackmail on someone who has the power to take it away. Like, there's definitely some iffy shit when you're talking diplomatic immunity. It's definitely a murky legal term, especially when you're dealing with trade agreements that deal with trillions of dollars of GDP being transferred around. So yes, technically it's illegal, and technically they should get in trouble, but technically they can get away with it depending on the geopolitical system, geopolitical shit that's going on at the time. It's really kind of fucked up.
Does it protect you against civil liability?
So that's kind of, again, where it gets weird, because after digging deeper, the general rule seems to be that a diplomat can claim immunity from criminal as well as civil things as long as they happen to be working on fulfilling the act of being a diplomat. So if they got a parking ticket, for example, while at a meeting for an important trade treaty, that's considered fine. They're like, whatever, it's not worth pissing off a country over a $20 ticket. But if they were to stumble out of a bar, go get ice cream and hit 50 school children on the way, well, I mean, that gets obviously a little more dicey. And technically, from if there is personal economic involvement, say they're also doing a meeting for some personal thing, they are not protected technically. And I know the country that's giving the immunity could still give the immunity, but that would obviously piss off and make relations between the countries become really bad. So that's kind of the general rule of that convention in 1961. That's kind of the modern murky definition of how it all works. So civilly, it's a little bit more like you're kind of on your own there. Criminally, depends on the situation. But technically, that guy that got away with murder in that Law and Order episode could get away with it, depending on who he knows, depending on what's going on, depending on what that person knows. So, great. I guess.
Were you able to do any Google searches or of any serious diplomatic immunity situations? Would you?
It's ever since the modern nation state has been developed, it's always happened. going back to kind of my spy presentation, they're kind of one and the same in some ways. A lot of spies actually have diplomatic immunity depending on what they're actually working on.
That's when they usually get kicked out of the country or whatever.
Exactly.
They don't get arrested, but they get kicked out of the country.
Yeah, so you mentioned it's happened in Canada where a diplomat has hurt somebody. I mean, even in our own political system here in the United States, there's stuff of politicians killing people and not even seeing even a trial, even if it was an accident. Like, there's corruption obviously at the highest levels. So especially when you're dealing with other countries and the differences in culture, it gets really goddamn murky. And the whole crap of the greater good and all that crap. So again, good. At least I know about it now, and I'm only a little sad.
Darkest timeline.
It's always the darkest timeline. That is what we're on. No accountability, but that's fine. Who cares anymore? It just is what it is. But yeah, that's what I learned about this week.
Interesting.
Interesting shit.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, but what I'm really interested in is figuring out why Tim's falling. So why don't you explain why you're falling, Tim?
Well, hopefully this is interesting, if not exactly relevant to a U.S. experience, but here's my story. And it's a painful one, but has a happy ending because I'm still here. Let me change my background, if you just give me a moment. Make things a little clearer.
Uh-oh. You're missing part of your floor there, Tim.
Yeah. This is my outside deck, and it is probably about belly button high off the ground. I've learned something about some construction materials here in Thailand. And one of them is the type of material that's used here is sort of called a cement fiber board. The thinner one is meant for using for fence walls. And the thicker one is also for fence walls, but they also recommend it for using for decks. Now, the gap that you see, let me just check my notes. I got the wife to send it. That gap that you see in the floor is 20 by 65 centimeters. There's metal supports going crosswise against the way the boards run. If you could describe it, it's like a 6-inch plank on the floor, and in the photo there's a section of it is missing, and so whoever built this deck made it a certain width. You can see the width of the board there. Between the board, I believe that's 65 centimeters. So that's where the metal is underneath it on either end. Apparently, though, it's supposed to be closer together if you're going to use it as flooring. Well, we noticed there was a crack had developed, and we put a chair, that's the chair off to the left without the seat cushion on it, over top of it so that we wouldn't, because we always come out of that door. When we go to use the outdoor kitchen in Thailand, we have indoor kitchens and outdoor kitchens, and we have both. You use the outdoor one so you don't stink up your house, especially if you're going to put your AC on. Now, I had the chair over there. We had the chair over there. Cody was down here visiting at the same time. Somehow, somebody or myself moved the chair from the cracked area that we were trying to avoid. It was a big, long holiday here, so the guy we wanted to come repair it was off on holiday. So that's another reason I didn't delay it, procrastinate on this, but we had to because of the holiday. So I had the chair on there, but somehow the chair got moved, and somebody used my slippers. My wife tends to use my slippers, and I guess she took them off standing next to the open hole and put the slippers on top of the open hole, not thinking about anything. So I came out and I put my slippers on, and I'm standing right on that board. And the next thing you know, I'm sure it'll be funny to watch, I go 2 feet down, woof. and really damaged my shins. And let me tell you, my shins hurt like you wouldn't believe. And I got bandages on both legs, and I got 4 stitches on one of them because I had a dent right down to the bone. So that's what happened. So then my experience is just learning. Being a holiday, we were really glad we didn't go to the nearby government hospital, which is about 5 minutes away from us, because we later found out that they were busy with shootings, drownings, motorcycle accidents, that we would have waited quite a while. So we drove about half an hour away, which ended up being 45 minutes due to traffic of the holiday. You got to imagine, it's like there's 70 million, over almost 80 million people in this country. And there's 12 million people in Bangkok, and they say Bangkok is like a ghost town during this holiday because it's the longest holiday of the year, and a lot of them love coming down here. So the roads were just packed. But anyways, we got to the private hospital. They treated me, they X-rayed me, they gave me stitches, they bandaged me, all for the sum total of 3,000 baht, which I guess in US dollars it's somewhere around $90.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be nice.
Now so I got to get my bandages changed every day. So I just do that at the government hospital, and they change my bandages every day, clean it, sanitize it, change my bandages, and that cost me 150 baht. So
God
what
damn
is that?
it. Like,
What is that?
That's
150 baht?
150 baht's like $3.
Yeah,
Or $5.
That's what it cost.
$5.
That's what it cost me every day to get that done.
We
So
wouldn't,
I'm at
in
least
this,
I'm
I'm just going to
finding out how
say,
to
in
use
this
the system
goddamn
here.
country, I don't think I would ever go to a hospital or even a doctor's office to get my bandages changed. I'd have to do it myself.
Well, no, I'd be doing it myself.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Or
What the
if I
fuck?
went somewhere, it would be
But fortunately, I don't have
$300
medical
for the
insurance.
bandages.
I don't have medical insurance, but I do have
You don't
accident
need
insurance. So I
fucking
did-
medical
I didn't pay a cent.
For that price,
No.
fuck.
Yeah. Well, I told you the price of my endoscope.
Yeah.
That was with the PCR test. So the PCR test was like 1,600, and I still paid only 4,000 for a whole bloody endoscope test and biopsy. I mean that's crazy cheap.
I mean, when I went to Thailand, I ended up catching bronchitis along with my travel mates, Cody and a friend of ours, and greatest
You guys went to one of the
experience.
more expensive
Yeah, we went
hotels.
to the expensive one that cost $150 to have a personal translator stay with me, to see a specialist within an hour, and also get drugs. And actually, I think it was
I just
less
lost-
technically.
Oh, I got a technical problem here. What the heck? I just lost my notes. Anyway, so we're in the process of. Okay, hang on. I know what it signed out. It's the security. One moment.
That's fine. I can fill. So
I
I
got it in a
actually
second.
just got a bill.
Here we go.
It still hasn't gone through insurance yet. But to get my son seen, he got the norovirus, which is basically kind of like the stomach flu, like it's coming out of both ends. To be seen in the urgent care facility, so not even like the ER, just urgent care. And he got an IV of 1 liter of saline with a little bit of anti-nausea medicine, and then a prescription for anti-nausea medicine. My out-of-pocket that day just for the medicine was like $15, which isn't bad. The bill I got from the urgent care facility that still has to go through my insurance, $890.
Wow. I think I could get heart surgery.
Cheaper just to die.
Oh my god. So, anyways, we've been pricing steel. That's the only downfall here. Steel over the last couple of years has been really expensive over here, and evidently over the last year it's gone up 120%. So the 15 steel bars that we're going to have to buy to basically cut the gap between each of them in half. They say it's going to be about a 3-day job. That's going to be, each one of those is about 700 baht each. So, geez, I don't know, $30. So we're going to be spending about 15,000 baht just on friggin' steel, which is, I guess, about 450 bucks.
Yeah.
450 bucks. Yeah. 450 bucks on steel.
Why do you
just
have
a
to
couple
use
of replacement
steel?
boards.
Still,
Why couldn't you use wood? Out of curiosity, or is wood
You got
just
termite.
Oh, that
termites
makes
here.
sense. That makes perfect. Okay.
Yeah. The alternative is we want to try to switch to plastic composite boards in the future, but it's just not in the budget right now because they would cost about 50,000 baht, which maybe by the U.S. standards is not a lot, but by
Not nothing.
Retirement standards, that's a lot to buy plastic composite boards. So we're going to stick with the same material. We're just going to make the gap half of what it is.
Yeah.
So that's my experience, and my wife is a lot more stressed about this whole thing than I am. I mean, I wasn't going to go to the hospital, but I'm glad I did.
Sounds
I did
like
have
it.
the accident insurance.
So you fell. So you said both shins got messed up in this. So you fell into that hole.
Both shins, a heel, and I fell into the hole. I went straight down, like boom, or straight down as you can go.
So you fell all the way to the ground, or did you end up getting stuck?
I'm really not sure. It happened so fast and it hurt so much. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
whether
sure you
I
weren't
fell
trying to figure out the logistics.
I fell to
of
the
that.
ground, or whether I stopped myself before my feet, my sandals. You can see they're at the bottom of the hole in the picture. One.
Oh, jeez.
Where am I? Where's my pointer? There. One there. Yeah.
The other one's by your head, I think. That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're
Yeah.
okay, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of ruined the last part of Cody's vacation here because I couldn't really
Fell
do
through
very
a
much.
hole.
And my shins were swollen, and yeah. I think the worst part of this is the bloody antibiotic they gave me. It makes me so sleepy.
They do
Takes
love their
away my-
antibiotics over there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
yeah.
I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
sounds like you needed it, considering you got scraped up against whatever that material is. You
Yeah.
said it was. I'm sure it's not the cleanest in the world.
Yeah. So yeah. So that medical cost I told you also included all the antibiotics and all the painkiller I needed.
God damn
Although
it.
the painkiller is only a leave, but that was included in the bill. So,
God
and
damn
that was
it.
at a private hospital. If I went to the government hospital, it would have been cheaper.
See, like you said, if that were to happen,
if I went to get my
if that were
if
to
I went to
happen
get my
here,
cleanings done at a private hospital, it would have been around 500 baht a day.
which
But
is
it would have been covered
still,
automatically because I had my first treatment there. They would have covered my cleanings every day after that.
But like
But I went to the
even if it was the
government hospital.
expensive one, it wouldn't. That's still unbelievable. I never even thought about that. Because like if that had happened to Brandon or I, first off, we probably wouldn't have gone to the hospital, honestly. Because
Nope.
If you saw
As-
the dent in
I
my leg,
would've-
it almost looked like I hit the bone. So
I'm sure,
I
but
guarantee.
but
I
but
guarantee
here's
I wouldn't have because
there.
I have glued and duct taped myself back together specifically to avoid going to hospitals.
a
in the
big
past.
a big problem in this particular country is like there were a couple. I've had an old lady who fainted. And the first thing she thought of when she got up was, I can't afford a fucking ambulance to go to the hospital.
Do
and I'm
not
like,
call 911.
how is that the first thing you think of when you just fainted or you hurt yourself or you hurt yourself and then you let it get worse because infections are a thing? Like, it's
and that's part of the reason I went is that with my accident insurance, I got 24-hour period. I've got to report it within 24 hours. If I don't, then I'm not covered.
Okay. Yep.
So after a while, I thought about it. I wasn't going to go at first. I wasn't going to go because I usually heal pretty fast. I wasn't going to go. But I thought, oh, what the heck.
Yeah.
So, X-rays, they did X-rays. I don't think it was necessary, but they did X-rays too.
why
That's
not?
part of that
Because it
bill.
could have. And that's the thing
yeah.
of like the fact that they're willing to go that extra far, that much. And it's not going to be like $4,000 because that's how much it freaking costs to get a goddamn X-ray in the United States, and in Gunnison especially because they don't even have their own goddamn X-ray machine, or I guess it's an MRI machine.
we do now.
Oh, you have your own
We do
MRI
now.
machine? Oh, look at you guys,
yeah.
all 21st century finally. God damn it!
So if anybody comes over here, it's and you get something happening to you, go to the hospital.
What a concept!
You can get it done.
Unbelievable.
Same thing with dental. If you want to get an implant, dental implants, combine it, make a vacation, come over here and get your dental implants done. I'm sure they're at least
It'd be
50% of what it
would still be
what it
even
costs
with
in the US.
even with the damn even with the travel expenses, way cheaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wonder what it is to get wisdom teeth out there.
You can find out if you want. I can find out.
Yes, please.
I got some
Yeah.
LASIK I want to do.
I
Brandon,
may have
let's
a
go
good-
to Thailand for some medical stuff. Fuck it.
I can find out from
Right?
my dentist who speaks English. They're very good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'd,
Yeah.
I'd
And
be
let me
interested.
tell you, their facilities are very modern in the dentist's office here.
Oh, I'm
that I
sure.
go to. Yeah.
God damn it.
Everything's
I
on
would be
screen.
willing to
Stupid
bet
country.
It's way more modern than here in Gunnison.
Mhm.
They want to take all 4 of my wisdom teeth.
Okay. Yeah.
More fun.
I'll ask my wife to find out and get back to you on that one. Yeah. I mean, I could find out too, but just easier for her
Yeah, just
because they do talk.
no rush. It would be next year.
Yeah. Because it might actually be worth your while if you think about it. If you think about what you
Even if
spend
it's
on
even if it's the same price,
hotels
honestly.
and the airline. Yeah, but then at least you get something else.
That's what I'm
out of
saying. You get an experience out of it. Like
it. Yeah.
I would do it. I'm actually seriously considering the LASIK thing. Like yeah, it would suck for the first couple days and the first week or two, but
Yeah. Yeah.
then afterwards I get 4 or 5 days. Fuck it.
Yeah.
My one thing about
Paying the same
LASIK,
amount.
Cody lived in a hotel room for like a month, and he had everything delivered to him. What you don't need to see in that country.
No,
Just
no, no,
have
no.
everything delivered to you.
No, my problem with LASIK is I have been wearing glasses so long
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that just like random shit, like I'm walking through, hiking on a little path or something, and I'm not really paying attention, and like next thing I know, like,
oh, I would probably lose
I
my
just
eye
ran into
the
that
first
fucking tree.
within the first week, but the other eye I could still see. So
I still
So-
got 20/20 vision.
I always
only
struggle-
mono eye now.
I always struggle to find an interesting topic to talk to you guys about because I'm not
falling
up on
through
stuff.
a hole is pretty
I'm-
interesting.
I'm usually
Tim.
doing
Relax.
the mundane, experiences over here.
I talked about
But
diplomatic
I hope
immunity.
next
Come
week.
on.
I hope next week. I hope next week I'm not too interesting. I don't want to be too interesting.
No, you have had very.
So I got hit
interesting
by a car
topics,
this
Tim.
week.
Don't-
Cost me $12 to get
God.
fixed. I got brand new legs for $10.
It's only a flesh wound.
I'm robot from the knee down, and it cost me $10.
I can now jump
Yeah,
20
I'm getting-
feet high. Cost me $37.
Yeah, I'm not feeling old, but my wife's telling me I'm getting too old for this stuff. Stop getting hurt. She says that doesn't like me driving. She doesn't like me driving a motorcycle.
Quality of life.
You got to live it up.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Fall
there for.
through a hole someday. You may as well enjoy life.
You know,
That was embarrassing because I knew that we knew that board was no good, and I asked I foot not just 1 foot, 2.
It happens.
it happens.
All right, so where are we? I got to get back to my notes. Can somebody help me out here? Or what,
Brandon. I think
Brandon.
I heard you're in a rantastic mood. So how about you reveal your slip a little bit and tell me what's under that veil?
Yeah, well, here's a peek behind the veil. A little behind the scenes for you fine folks out there listening, watching, on how I find interesting topics. It's a 5-step process. Step 1. Open a new tab in Microsoft Edge with the intent of doing something totally different. Like, checking bank balance, checking email, buying something on Amazon. Doesn't matter. But here's the important part. Step 2. Get distracted by the newsfeed because I chose the informational new tab layout. Fall through a rabbit hole, which is step 3.
It's an
Rabbit
ADD
hole
day.
after rabbit hole. Oh, yeah. I got the ADD bad. Step 4. Copy the links of the interesting articles to OneNote, thanks to Colton's wonderful idea of just like, hey, if you see something interesting, you should just throw it in a OneNote. And then, when you're Step 5, panicking the day of the podcast, you can scour through your OneNote for ideas and then reread the articles while writing a script. That's normally how I do it. Unfortunately, today, there's now a Step 5 subsection 1. If that link is older than a week or so, get pissed at Microsoft for no longer hosting the article, and then write a rant about it. So that's what we're doing today. That's what's grinding my gears.
You have to web capture now. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you talking like I use Edge, right?
Yep.
So you're talking
so
like
the
when you
Microsoft
open
Start?
Yeah, so you open up a new tab and you have all that stuff there. Really?
If those
So you
if
can
those
capture the
links
web
are
change,
older
though, if
than
you
a few
want.
weeks. Kind of.
Like a screen capture scrolling the web page
Well,
with Edge.
Yeah, you could do that, but like if
But
you
that's a
just
pain.
if you're trying to be
Yeah.
if you're trying to get back on topic like me, like I ADD something and it's like, oh, this is really interesting, and I read the first couple snippets and it's like, okay, this is going in the idea box for later, and then I
Look into
close
it later.
that
Right. I
and
get
go
you.
back to the
That's what
new
I would do,
tab,
too.
and it's like, oh, hey, there's this other cool thing here. And then like an hour later, I finally get onto whatever site I'm trying to get onto. But yes, those links do expire.
Oh.
And when you click on an expired link, it doesn't tell you, hey, this article's no longer hosted, or here's the original source content. It takes you to the, what is it?
The home page for that shit, right?
Yeah, the MSN US English feed, because that's where I live. I had found a very interesting topic a few weeks back about a patient who had the world's first full heart transplant from a pig. He died, but he lived with this genetically altered pig heart in him for 2 months. And like month one, they actually had him working with physical therapists, and he was watching the Super Bowl, and there was this whole big thing about it, and it was very cool, and I was very interested in it, wanted to learn more about the technology. That's what I was going to do today, because I thought about it again. I clicked the link, and it took me back to the MSN just start page. And it's like, okay, that's weird. Okay, surely that's a one-off. And I started going back and clicking older links, and they all did the same thing. But links from earlier in the week work perfectly. So this deeply triggered me. Because in addition to not taking me where I want to go, I challenge you right now on that start page to click into an article, and if it's not from one of the like super mainstream news sources, find a way to navigate to the source.
Yeah, that is something both Google and Microsoft are having to fight right now. Because if you look at the link to whatever source it is, if it's MSN, it's msn.com/whatever, even if it's like a Fox News article. And I think they're fighting right now to they have to pay the source because they're using their shit free, and they're stealing.
So
Sort of
that's
like
a
Huffington Post.
new EU regulation that went into effect a
I guess
little
it's
while
EU.
ago. So that's, yeah. But I mean, like, for instance,
check
I
this
would
out.
here, let me screen share. I don't know if this will work if we end up having to use the backup, but I'm going to screen share because I want to show you guys. And
We'll use
anyone
your
who's actually
backup
watching.
since
Well, no, I don't think it would work with my backup, I think is the problem.
it'll. Oh, man.
Will it? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I can't maximize mine now.
Well,
So, for
Craig
instance-
gets to see what's going on. Anyways,
Okay. So, for instance, here's this article from GamePer. What is No Man's Sky Coordinate Exchange answered? Okay. This is something I clicked on earlier today and was like, oh, this would be really cool. Well, I can react to it. I can comment to it. I can share, but if I click that share button, oops, it blanks out that screen. If I click that share button, it is basically just going to give me the same link, which is the msn.com, which will go away after a couple weeks. I can bookmark it to read it for later, which also expires after a couple weeks.
Oh.
And if I scroll down through here, nowhere in here. So the article ends here, and I feel like there should be more.
Yeah.
It doesn't end at a natural point. But there's nothing. There's nothing I can click on.
Even if you click on
that
like game per the actual website.
So if I click on game per, it's literally going
just
to
takes...
just open up their main site. Okay.
What the fuck?
So scrolling down, there's
Can you
still
find
nothing.
it if you search on their main site? Can you find that article?
So that's
Oh, I'm
that's the
sure.
problem.
I'm sure it's there.
It's an extra step.
Uh-huh,
I
okay.
could
Yeah.
yes just copy paste this and do a search and find it.
Right.
The problem is when I'm finding these, I just want to copy a link and throw it into the OneDrive
and get back to your
get
other
back to what
task.
I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nothing on here, right? But this is game per. We go to here, Tech Radar, and there's nothing up top, but as you're reading through,
Oh,
well,
fuck
look,
that.
now it's via the register. And if you click on this, it will actually take you
Oh,
to
that's
the right website,
bullshit.
Okay.
right?
So if you're a
So-
big company or a big site, you get special fucking treatment. But if you're not, fuck you. We're taking your shit. We're not gonna give you any credit. Give you exposure.
It's not going to link to your site. It's not going to link to your site.
Wow.
It's not going to link to your ads. So, like for instance, with the Tech Pirate, if we were to do something and be up on this Microsoft Start screen, which is this, right? Which here's the other thing. Notice I can see my rewards points. I'm signed in. Okay, let's look at Newsweek. So it's going to open it up in a new tab. All of a sudden, oh, here, sign in.
What the fuck is going on?
Right? So then
They're
let's see
a
if this is
$1 trillion
another one.
company. What the fuck, Microsoft?
Continue reading.
Are there any ads on this
look
page?
at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's ads off to the side. There's ads below.
Oh,
Topics
geez.
for you. You look down in the more for you, and like the first 3 are ads. And then scattered throughout here, you've got to figure out, oh, this is an ad. This is an ad. This is an ad. This is
I mean,
an ad.
shit. At least they say it's an ad, but what do they call
True.
that? Sponsored content or whatever? Make it look like it's real. Holy shit! So yeah, if the article you just put up on the techpirate.net, great article by the way, Brandon. If this showed up on here,
we would get zero
we would get
traffic.
zero
for it.
traffic. We would get no ad revenue, even though you did all the work. Microsoft just aggregated it to their stuff, and they get all the money. Oh, fuck that!
Yep.
At least Flipboard gives you can go to it.
Like I said,
Easy.
it wouldn't even.
You don't hide it.
Yeah, if it would still be
And-
bad,
and
but
it
if there was
actually
a
mostly
quick
populates.
link to go to it for everything, should be at the
Yeah.
fucking top.
Like,
You see the original
it
post.
It should be right underneath this React and like this share stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It should be like go to source site. Like it should be a button right there, boom, click, and you can go there. I originally liked reading it like this because all of the ads are off to the side and you can read. I mean, you've got like one in stream, but for the most part, you can read it and it's not as annoying as some of these people's sites, right?
Wow.
That's why I was going to it. And now I just, I can't, it's just frustrating because like I keep thinking like, okay, what if I write an article that gets picked up? Or what if Colton writes an article that gets picked up on the tech part? That's not generating money for our platform. That's not generating money for us to then be like, hey,
It's not even exposure,
Look at us,
which
we're-
I mean is garbage, but yeah, traffic to our site.
I mean,
at the very least,
it gives you that little like, oh, look right here. This is who it's from, but it takes you to the main site. It doesn't take you to the article. And that's an issue. So it's just, it's utterly disappointing. Like, it's, what the
Why?
hell, Microsoft?
Why?
Like, if you're gonna make this rabbit hole new tab for people to fall into? Could you at least forward me to the original content if you don't want to host it anymore? Could you keep me signed in when I open another link? Could you, I don't know, maybe put a fucking, go-to source link?
Yeah, if you use Flipboard, you can see that it's so easy to go to the original. It even sometimes when you click to read the article, it goes to the original. I mean, they're not as blatantly stealing. And
Well, what
you can
pisses
always
me
go to
off,
the original.
what pisses me off, if you go to Google News, you could just click on the thing and it takes you right to the article. At least, now granted, they're all big. They are. I do have to find a smaller site, but it's not even hard. You just click on the article, it just goes right to it. Opens up a new tab. I mean, yeah, not that Google's the good guy in this, obviously, because they are doing kind of the same thing. NPR.
Well, so is Huffington Post, though.
Well, I know it doesn't.
Over that.
Okay, here's...
Yeah, it acts
here's
like a
weird-
search. It acts like a search entry in a Google search. So you just click on the thing, it takes it to the website because that's what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, Google's still a piece of shit, but they're doing it better. At least it's better than Microsoft.
MSN.
Ooh.
And I mean, that's the shitty part is like that new tab interface. Like that has been working for me for a year and a half now. Like I've been on Edge since Edge redesigned itself around Chromium. Like it's been fucking great. And this has been what I've been doing. Like this is how I find most of my articles are like random cool, like, oh, hey, look at this. Rivian is actually selling vehicles now, or like, oh, look, Cybertruck is delayed more. Like, I don't get my news sources from like one, like CNN or Fox or whatever. Like I
use Flipboard for that.
I think I'm going to have to look at that because I'm going to have to change the way that my new tab works because if I continue to use that functionality, I'm going to continue to get screwed over and I'm going to continue to support Microsoft and their absolutely atrocious business practices. As somebody
what pisses
who
me
wants
off
to
the most,
eventually make money on media,
if they just kept the fucking link, you might not have even noticed it. At least right. You probably would have noticed it eventually, but it wouldn't have pissed you off to the point where you don't even want to use the service anymore. Like, I
wonder if they pay them at all. Maybe
that's probably why they.
I doubt it.
I think they do because again the EU has their thing.
EU.
But I think it's easier at the scale they are. It's probably easier to just make that rule, and that's probably why they changed it. Or well, maybe it's always been this way. It's never been noticed. But if they keep the links up, they always have to pay the website. Or maybe there's some weird loophole, but there's no reason why they couldn't just keep a massive list of links because it's just links.
It's just like Google is a big company, and it was allegedly taking technology from other companies. And what they would do is the company would say, well, okay, in order so you don't sue us, what do you think this is worth? And so then the company would say, oh, it's worth $100,000. And Google would say, oh, okay, so we're not going to pay you because, we can beat you in court, we can fight you in court, and you're going to be spending way more than $100,000, blah, blah, blah. They were doing that to a lot of companies, and they even tried to do that to the people who actually invented Google Earth.
I am definitely adding a new discussion topic for big tech because Amazon pulled that shit with they're pulling that shit with their Amazon Basics.
Yeah, their Amazon Basics line.
Yeah,
so there's a really good Netflix movie on basically the inventors of Google Earth and the fight they had with Google, who they believe stole their technology. I'll try to find the link to that. I'll send it to you guys after the show. You really should watch the entire video. But anyways, that's what these companies do. So maybe this is sort of I don't want to badmouth the company, but I have no proof. Maybe
fuck
Microsoft.
Fuck them. They're a $1 trillion company. Fuck them. They're not your friend.
Maybe they're taking these articles and just saying, oh well, the time they complain, it's going to be gone anyways.
That's exactly. That's probably what it is too.
Yeah.
It's
they could be doing that.
It is a choice they made Because again, they're a $1 trillion
Yeah.
company. They can afford, and that scale, a couple cents adds up. So they probably save
'cause I'm su-
millions of dollars by doing it this way. Fuck them.
because I'm sure it would take a lot longer to sign a contract with a news provider. Say, oh, can we buy your article and put it up for 10 days?
Well, I'm
would
they
take-
probably
Well,
do it
why-
with the big
why
ones.
wouldn't
you-
They probably do it with the big ones because it makes sense. But why would they? I'm sure the logistics of having to pay the tech pirate for an article that someone might click maybe 5 times a year. Honestly, at this point, like it's and if we
Yeah.
wanted to fight them, they'd probably pull what you said, like what you said with Google. They just were like, oh, okay, well, we can fight this. We'll fight you. It's going to cost you more money, but you'll get your 8 cents because
Yeah.
it means fuck 'em.
It's sort of a docudrama that the link I'm going to send to you. It's
We'll put it in the
when
show
you when you
notes.
hear about some of Google's strategies with other developers who they allegedly hijack their technology.
Yeah, there's a discussion topic I would like to discuss one of these days with everybody is a concept called the splinternet. And it's basically the idea that the internet is supposed to be all together, all just a bunch of computers connected, but all of these big tech companies and governments are splitting it up into their own walled gardens. So kind of the same way. They because they have the money and the influence, they're able to do it. They can play by a different set of rules against these smaller creators specifically.
I definitely have some thoughts on that, but we should definitely save.
Oh yeah, I think that should be
Save
our next topic. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe when Cody comes back, if he ever does, he'll come back.
We miss you, Cody.
I'm indifferent. I'm just kidding.
Oh, throwing
He won't.
shade
He
over
won't
there.
watch this. It's fine.
That's right. Yeah.
Watch this be the one he watches and be like, "What the fuck?"
Tell
Guys
him
throwing
we were
shade
burning,
at me.
We were
I'll
burning. him.
edit that part out and put it at the beginning, and he'll never know about it.
When you're gone, you get burned.
Is that an episode,
Okay.
boys?
Yeah.
It's about an hour. It's pretty good for us.
Yeah.
I think
If you're feeling better, Brandon?
the rant is subsiding. Yeah. Well,
You started
that,
one in my head. I'm
you know,
still
half a
angry,
beer.
but
excellent.
I'll save it for our discussion episode.
Okay. Well,
Just wait until you watch the Netflix docudrama that I'm going to send you.
Oh, I'll probably have to
That
be.
will
I'll have to be
really
in a very
annoy-
specific set.
Annoy you.
Yeah, I'll have to be a very specific mindset at that point.
You're
I can
gonna
already
feel
tell.
so bad for these guys. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
And
Well,
let me put it this way: Google never sued them for the drama.
well, Tim, where can we find you?
Our Thai Journey on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Colton, where can we find you?
The name is Colton Roper. You can find me everywhere on the socials as Seeker4761. I also stream pretty regularly on twitch.tv/Seeker4761, where I've been streaming Satisfactory. Also started a little weekly streaming thing with my colleague Brandon here, streaming like Way Out Wednesdays, so games that tend to be sci-fi based or airplane based or some sort of fun epic journey based. No Man's Sky is what we're streaming at this point. I'm sure it's going to change like it always does, but check it out there. Also a contributor to techpirate.net. Brandon.
Contributor to techpirate.net just put up a little short article, very worth the read, about thermals on the Framework laptop. But if you have any curiosity on what closing the lid of a laptop that exhausts out the hinge, I'd highly recommend taking a look at it. And then if you're curious what a cooler stand would do for you, specifically in that situation, I've got some good numbers, nice little graph.
Got the data,
graphics.
baby. He's got the data.
I got the data. Made it all scientific and everything.
With a bokeh picture and everything.
Graphs.
Totally incidental. Like I faked that one and it made it good. So techpirate.net. I I don't know. I keep wanting to do more video stuff on the Tech Pirate YouTube channel, but life is chaos and it's easier to write things. So just visit the website for now. And yeah, twitch.tv/Captain Dracanus. And I have started to stream regularly every Wednesday with that gentleman over there doing the Way Out Wednesday. And yeah, we did
What time
Star
do you do
Citizen
that
the
at?
first time. So it starts between 8:30 and 9 Mountain Time, and it'll last at least an hour, but so far it's been like 2 hours and up. So this week will be much shorter. I have to wake up super early in the
As
morning,
we end at
but
1 a.m.
yeah. But that's been a lot of fun, and actually did the last No Man's Sky stream on my Framework laptop, and it was quite wonderful. Continually impressed with that. Watch for the 1 week review. I'm probably about halfway done writing it at this point. It has officially been a week as of tonight. So I'm hoping to get that article out tomorrow or Wednesday. So hopefully by the time this is out, it will already have been out on the Tech Pirate. Check it out. Yes, let me go back to my notes and thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at THIS_TWIL. If you'd like to contact us, you can send an email to twill@thetechpirate.net. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys. So Colton, a little side topic for our little after hours. I am thinking about canceling my Steam Deck purchase.
Really?
Really?
Why is that?
I carry a laptop everywhere with me,
Oh, that's
and this laptop is... I have yet to be able to throw anything at it, even not on the eGPU dock, and have it fail to load. So
yeah. I mean, if it can even play Star Citizen, have you tried Star Citizen? I think you did. Right?
I haven't. So Star Citizen on the dock works great.
Right.
Better frame rates than my desktop, which is insanity. I have not tried it only on the integrated graphics yet.
But I mean, it's not like Star Citizen
Star
will work
Citizen.
on the damn Steam Deck, so
Yeah.
there's no way in hell it's going to work there. So yeah.
There's videos of people trying it, and it's 5 frames, I think, is what they were getting. And it's like...
I mean,
Nope.
you're going the mobile life, and if it can fucking play everything you wanted to play, I mean, why would you need it?
God. I mean, and
If you wanted something in your hand, you have your Switch, so...
I have my Switch, and I mean, honestly, like, so over Easter, I just threw my handy Xbox controller in my bag, and anytime that I was like, ooh, it's been an hour and a half, I'm going to check on my No Man's Sky settlement. Like, at my parents' house, I would just pop the screen open, connect the Xbox controller, launch No Man's Sky, play it for a couple minutes, deliver, resources to the new building, or go make decisions on the settlement, go check my mining facilities, log out. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, you were your plan was to put Windows on the Steam Deck anyways, which might not be a good experience for a while. So
Yep.
I'm actually not surprised at all. And if the XC graphics, which are, I don't know if they're probably not better than the RDNA 2 graphics, but
I
the
bet
RT,
the RDNA
but they're also
would be better.
But they're also a different class of what's the term? Integrated graphics. They're a different thing entirely. So I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean,
actually.
Here's the other thing is like the framework. I have 64 gigs of RAM in it.
Yeah.
And 2 terabytes of storage.
Put a whole fucking game on that.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. Just, it's kind of one of those things that I've been thinking, like, do I really need to carry another device, or is it going to end up being kind of like my Surface Go?
Kind of just exist and never use it. Like, what's the point of spending money on it?
Yep. Even if it is
Hell,
a good price for the hardware.
By the time you get it anyways, the fucking Steam Deck 2 will be out. So who fucking cares anymore?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like, okay, maybe the revision 2 will be the more worth it. Like, that's...
Yeah, this is still a proof of concept. And then like, oh, turns out people like fucking Windows sometimes on their handhelds. Maybe we'll make it do both.